How's everyone out there? Like, I know you guys are in Denver. It's winter. Are you guys totally? Is it totally sucking out there right now, or is it
It was
decently
like
okay?
65 today. It's really
Oh,
weird. But
okay.
then like in 2 days it's gonna be back down to like 30s. So
Yeah, it's always crazy here, honestly, the weather. It's like very one day it's like, yeah, 65 and sunny, and the next day it's like 17 degrees.
Yeah, it's kind of the same here in Minneapolis, except like 30 degrees colder. So like the days that you guys are at 60, we're at least at 30, but it's brutal and it sucks. And I'm so ready for spring and summer.
Yeah, Minnesota's on another level.
Is that where you're at in Minnesota?
Yep, I'm in Minneapolis.
Nice.
Do you have any questions before we get started?
How long have you been doing this podcast for, and what keeps you going?
I've been doing this podcast since about August 2019.
Oh,
Um, and I guess the thing that keeps me going is just, uh, I've always been one to try and find new music that are at least new to me. So getting to meet like a bunch of new people from across the country, after taking time away from like not being in music and not touring and not getting to experience all the different scenes that I got to see. This has been like my one fun way to kind of get back into everything.
nice.
Cool.
Um, Only question for the three of you before we get started is, do you have an unopened beverage that you'd like to participate in the opening crack with?
yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'll do
Oh,
here is
one
I'll count
second.
us down.
Sorry, our roommate's leaving right now.
Martha, see you later.
Are you holding me here after my computer?
Yeah, totally tough.
It's our roommate right there. The legend of the nation.
Okay.
So what I'll do here is I'll count us down. We'll crack these. I'll do the literature, bring the three of you in. We'll just have a good time.
Sick.
Sounds good.
Sick. All right, in three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. Very stoked to have another Denver band. I think this makes three in total so far, but always fun to kind of add another one to the list. Tonight I'm sitting down with Tiny Tomboy. How y'all doing?
Yeah. Great.
Refreshed.
Oh yeah. Like I said, Tiny Tomboy is based out of Denver. For people that might not be aware, they're indie rock, and they have a new LP out there we're going to be talking about here shortly. But before we get too far, can you kind of go around the room and say who you are and what you do in Tiny Tomboy?
I'm Eliza. I sing and play guitar in Tiny Tomboy.
My name is Ethan, and I play bass.
I'm Sam and I play drums.
Hell yeah. I mean, the three of you are putting on some sick stuff that I'm really stoked to talk about. Some sad stuff mixed in there as well, which that'll be I think a segment on its own. Uh, but I mean, for a little backstory for people that aren't aware, you guys started about 2019. You have your debut LP came out in 2022 called Sunburn, which is also phenomenal. For everyone listening, please go check that out as well. Um, it's crazy because I know a lot of bands started out. Um, well, they start out all the time, but starting out right before the pandemic, and then doing my little backstory research on you, you started and then immediately had to go home uh, to your respective homes in college. Like, it's crazy to think that you made it this far and have two LPs out. When that, I feel like that would have deterred a lot of people of just like we can't even be together right now. Like, what was the drive to like keep the band going at that point?
Yeah, honestly can't believe we made it this far either. Like we're all out of college now, all, moved to Denver together. Um, but I think during COVID, I basically just spent a lot of time writing songs. So I was like really excited to eventually get back and like start playing them together. And most of the band, or a lot of the band quit after COVID, actually. So Ethan was a post-COVID addition in 2021, and we had another guitarist as well, but for the past couple of years, it's just been like the three of us, and it's been really solid. So yeah, it's not like everybody remained in the band, but I think I just got really excited about like making music, and I wanted to keep doing it, and we're having fun also.
Yeah. I think like when we're thinking about COVID and like the impact on this band, like we were at the time we were in college, right? And when we came back, there was a bit of a void in the music scene, both like at our college and then also locally. And I think that kind of led to our success on a little bit because we were like really into it together. But there weren't that many bands, that were still playing locally. And I think because we were one of those bands that was playing locally, we were getting a lot of opportunities, and gaining a lot of momentum through kind of like filling that space that had been left open by like COVID and like other bands dismantling.
Oh, that's true.
Which is crazy to think because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys went to college in Colorado Springs area, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yes.
I have a decent amount of friends that live down that way, and to think that Colorado Springs, I mean, pandemic really will fuck anything up, but to think that like that spot was just like not a lot of people playing music anymore is just crazy to think. But at least you guys were able to kind of like fill that void, so to speak, and like be out there for people to kind of enjoy music again in a live format. Um, and then obviously moving to Denver, which Denver has a great music scene in general, and then getting to be a part of that. Like, have you noticed, or like, what are like some big differences between like Colorado Springs and like the Denver music scene? And like, was there a reason to switch from Colorado Springs to Denver, and was it based on music?
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Colorado Springs is there's a really big like metal and hardcore scene there. We're a little bit more indie, so uh like when we were like starting like 2021 to like kind of like we'd played a bunch of like house shows on college camp or no, on our college campus, and we were like trying to play more venues and stuff. There were just like both just because it was post COVID and also just it being more of a metal scene. We were really one of the only indie bands really in town, so
Yeah,
we'd be
we got
getting asked to play venues like this one venue, Vultures, which we love. It's like kind of where we got our start down there. We were playing there like at one point like every 2 weeks. It'd be like, hey, this indie band's coming to town. Can you play? And we were just like, yeah, sure. And Denver, I think there's a little bit more. I there's a bigger indie scene there, obviously.
Yeah.
Just also, it's just a bigger city. There's more variety in general, so it's been really awesome to see a lot of different like influences and make a lot of different friends who make a lot of different types of music, and just kind of getting exposed to different types of creation has definitely been pretty inspirational and just fun for us.
yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely like
Sorry, go
got
ahead.
stuck on we definitely got stuck on like some random shows that like if we were in Denver, they would never have put us on that show or something. Or like got to open some big shows as well, but it just like feel like there wasn't as much opportunity down there to like, for artists coming through who we more identify with. And
And there's a lot of awesome people and
oh
bands down
yeah.
the Springs. Black Sheep's an amazing venue, Vultures, Lulu's, and just like the Colorado College, our school has a cool band scene as well. Very supportive people everywhere, but just like I think, like Eliza said, just like Denver's just a bigger city, so it's just a bit of a higher ceiling, and it's been great to us.
Yeah, I agree. That's one. I remember I got to go to the Black Sheep at least once, in my time when I was in Colorado Springs. So like it is a good scene. I do agree with you that it is, even from my time remembering back then, it was a very big like hardcore metalcore scene. So it makes sense, uh, especially for the pocket that you guys are in, and especially with everything going on in Denver. Obviously, we have like a place for owls, which has been on the podcast. Homies of mine. Like, there's a good indie scene in Denver, and I think the music scene in Denver is just really, Denver as a whole is so chill enough where like you could kind of have those little bit more of a mixed bill, but you aren't seeing as much as like the heavier stuff all the time. At least from what I'm seeing from the outside, as like an outsider, don't Like, don't come at me, Denver, but it's just what I see.
Yeah, we definitely, I mean, we have a great hardcore scene too,
Great
punk
emo
scene,
scene
but
too.
yeah, there's just a lot more variety. Um, and everybody, I don't know, it's just a very supportive scene too. It's not like really
Mhm.
competitive. Everybody's friends with each other and like comes out to each other's shows, which is really cool.
Mhm.
Hell yeah. That's what that's. I mean, that's the mark of a good scene is when you're always just building each other up in a good way. The only time that you should really seek that competitiveness in like a scene is like when you're just when your friends put out something great and you're like, fuck, that was amazing. I want to like try like I want to be better to like be as good as they are, and in that sense, and I think Denver's a great scene
I mean, you
for that to
mentioned
happen.
Plates for Owls. Their new album's incredible.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah, there's they put out a solid album, and then I gotta find obviously more of your Denver friends through hopefully through this and with the label to like get that more sense of like what the Denver indie scene is like.
Is it just us on A Place for Owls who's been your Denver guest so far?
I've also had the band Relate.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
we've
yeah.
heard of them as well.
Yeah, I think we follow them, and they put out some cool stuff.
Yeah, they put out like an EP I think last year when they were on, and then Duncan, their lead singer, I remember him from his old band in Colorado Springs, um, which I'm blanking on their name, but I don't think anyone else from that band is really doing too much. I think Corey's still doing a little bit, but that's a whole different story. Um, but yeah,
Well, if you need more recommendations for Denver bands to check out, we got you.
hell yeah, I will
A lot of
take you up on
bands that like a lot of beer, so.
that. Hell yeah.
True.
uh, well, that kind of gets us to the present day. Obviously, like I said, Sunburn came out in 2022, and now it's Psychic Scar season, um, which I it is been I feel like a long time in the making because Psychic Scar were 4 days after the release. It came out on the first. We're sitting down today on today's the fifth. Um, so I mean, super fresh for one. How does it feel to finally have it out?
It feels so good. Yeah, the first song like we wrote for this was probably like right after Sunburn came out. So
I
the
was still
fact
in
that,
college.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. The fact that it's like finally, I don't know, we've also been playing the songs for forever, and it just like feels good to have them out there. And I'm very proud of like, I feel like we got some good quality recordings as well and mixes and stuff, and definitely really proud of how it came out. So it feels good.
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, I think it's a weight, like a bit of a weight off all of our shoulders. We're pushing really hard towards February 1st, and now we've got like some room to breathe and recuperate, and kind of reflect on everything that's led up to this point. But yeah, I mean, super intense emotions on Saturday night, a lot of happiness, um, a lot of sadness, a lot of tears of joy. Um, but overall, I think it's been really cool.
Yeah, I mean it's such a solid album. And then kind of going back to what you said, like you were still recording this when you were in college. I think I saw on Instagram like you can kind of find the point where like I think Sunrun had just come out, and then you were still kind of in the studio, kind of working on some stuff. And then I mean, Dead Dog came out February 23rd of last year, so almost a full year ago is when the first single was released. Which I gotta say, that song is one of the catchiest but also saddest songs I've listened to in a while. Uh, and I want to talk about the music video in a little bit, but I mean, to come out swinging with that as the first single leading up to this album and the rollout, like man, if I would have found it then, I would have been like, I don't know what I would have experienced like with the rest of this. Granted, it's all been great, but coming out strong with that song.
Thanks. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, even like that came out in, like I said, February. I think one of the later releases came out in I think August. Like, was there a reason to like wait for February of this year rather than like try and release it earlier since you've been sitting on it for a while?
Yeah, we just were not. anywhere near done with it, to be honest. Just took like a long time to
It's
get
a
it
slow
finished.
burn.
Then we had to get vinyl ready for the show and everything, and like it just it took a really long time to actually finish it, for being real.
Yeah, and we also like wanted to release it the same day of the show, and we knew we wanted kind of like we wanted to play a bigger venue, something special for the show. So I think when we got the show booked for the album release, we're like, all right, here's like kind of our deadline that we're working with. And the pieces kind of fell into place, working like knowing we have this deadline, we can work backwards to like meet, I guess, meet that.
Yeah, we definitely set an earlier date at one point and had like a show booked and then had to be like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
That was like October or something.
No, didn't we have one in like December? No, maybe it
It
was
was
November
October. It was
or that's
October,
crazy to
October
think
20
about.
something, and I don't think we even finished like mixing or mastering the last song by then.
Yeah,
But that's just
because
the life of
what,
a
yeah,
musician,
when did
though.
we record
Yeah.
Spaceways? The last song we recorded on the album
August.
was Spaceways. Really in August? It wasn't later than that?
It was August. Yeah.
Because
Wait,
when was the PAX show?
August.
Oh,
Mid-August.
well, that's
Yeah.
kind of embarrassing, but
We're like, yeah, we can get this mixed and mastered in 2 weeks and have it off for vinyl and then get it back. And it was
it was
just,
yeah,
we
not
did not do
realistic.
that.
But I don't know, we're all
Which,
busy, we all have full-time jobs, so
which is fair. But also it's amazing that in that short a time frame you were still able to like get like send it out for vinyl and also get it back. I know, the timelines have changed drastically since like even a couple years ago to get stuff back, but I mean, I feel like that's such a crazy turnaround to get it back so quick. Like that's still amazing.
yeah, we're lucky that it worked out the way it
Yeah.
did, I think. But yeah, I don't know. We're kind of working on it like we didn't record it all at once. It was just like over a long period of time that we recorded and like mixed and produced the stuff. So
Because are you guys all doing that kind of in house? Or you? Obviously, I saw like photos from like in a studio, but are you doing the most like the bulk of it yourselves, or are you sending it out to kind of get worked on?
what we did for this is like for most of the song, all of the songs but one, we recorded at like our college's recording studio with our friend engineering because we had Ethan was still a student there, so we were able to like record there for free basically.
Oh hell yeah!
It's a little janky, but it has some nice equipment in it. So we did that until we couldn't anymore, and then we recorded at our friend's house. But I would kind of go, we would record like the bare bones. We did it all live together, like the basic guitar, main guitar part, bass, drums. And then I would take it home and like we'd record like vocals ourselves, and I would record a bunch of, extra guitar or synths or whatever it needed kind of. And then like, I don't know, we had it like a pretty solid, like, rough mix before we would send it off.
Yeah, we got somebody to mix it for us and master it for us as well. But most of the production was like that single take with the three of us, and then like Eliza kind of engineering the rest of it from there on out.
Sam doing a lot of vocal harmony arrangements.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's the nice way to do it because it kind of gives you that time to kind of make it your own at the same point.
Mhm.
Um, whether you send it off or not, like just taking your time with it to give us the product that you really want instead of being like, okay, we have X amount of time in the studio to like get this all done. So it's kind of I like it when bands kind of have that leisureness and like take their time writing something out. Because I feel like that's when we get like the best products out of a band.
Yeah, I am curious to try it the other way because it ends up taking so long, but it is, I don't know, it is really nice to have time because I think of things that I wouldn't have thought of just like on the day. And I like also to be alone while I'm like writing parts so I don't feel pressure of like people watching me or, yeah, the thing with time is like I can take my time to figure stuff out or
Yeah. The only downfall I've heard of like with the time, and this goes back to the Relate dudes from when they told it to me, is like they would get like really nitpicky with stuff. And like they would have like multiple versions of like one song, like 15 versions, just because they're like, oh, a hi hat here or something like that. And like that at those points, you almost got to be like, okay, we've manipulated this enough. We kind of just need to get it released and just like let it be its thing. Um, but as long as you aren't in that mindset, I feel like you're fine.
Yeah, we definitely had to do that with a couple songs of like, okay, we've been working on this for way too long. Let's like call it a day.
Was there like any songs on this record that like might have drastically changed from like the initial inception to like what we're hearing on the final product?
Hmm. I feel like I don't well, the last one, Space Waste, we spent about like a month just like rehearsing it over and over, and it had, I feel like
It definitely changed
that
a
changed a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
Playboy, which kind of the first half of that song has a real like reggae kind of beat to it. I think that started off just like kind of just like a basic four on the floor, and then it was kind of boring, and then we reggaeified it and then added like a whole other rockin' post
Yeah, that was one
chorus.
of the ones that like changed a lot as we were playing it, kind of. And we didn't record it until after we'd been playing it live for a while.
Yeah, everything else kind of like when it, like we tweaked it as we went, but it kind of fell into place on its own pretty soon, I'd say. At least like vibe wise.
I'd say recording wise, like the bridge for Dead Dog changed a lot. And
Yeah.
I was like, I can't figure this out. And I'm still not sure that I figured it out, but that was one of the ones where I'd have to be like, okay, gotta stop.
Yeah. And I know I kind of mentioned the music video earlier, but for people that haven't checked it out, there is a music video out there for Dead Dog, which one I didn't know they made that many different variations of dog masks.
I
I
think
was
we got
very
them
surprised by
all.
that.
We have a few in our basement right now still. We don't really know what to do with them. We just kind of like it's a little party trick or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have had
Uh,
people like putting them on at our parties.
nice. Yeah, because there's so many. I think the one scene when you're kind of sitting at the bar, um, and you see them like everyone lined up at the bar, obviously with their dog mask on, and then kind of getting poured their drinks. I think that was uh, one of the funnier scenes in such a heavy hearted song video. But I think that it's also like the whole storyline to that it works super well and is like a great way like obviously like you said in the comments on YouTube, like your dog in the video is currently still alive, but I think it was a perfect way to honor them in the video, had they passed, in that respect. It's like I said, it's one of the catchier, sadder songs I've listened to in a while, and it's done so well. Probably like one of my favorite songs off this album.
Thanks.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
we
much.
wrote it because Sam and I, our childhood dogs died in like the same week.
Oh, jeez.
So
True.
I was like, I guess we should write about that,
And
huh?
they lived long, full lives, but it's still
Yes.
obviously a very kind of sad moment, and we kind of compared our thoughts and feelings on it, and next thing you know, we have a whole song about it.
Yeah, it's done super well. Sorry for your loss, for your childhood dogs, especially that to have it all both to for both of you to happen in such short time of each other. Uh, like that's insane. But deepest condolences. You know, I normally say this for members that aren't here, but I'm gonna say it for your past pets. This is where we're gonna pour one out in their honor. Since they're not here with us anymore. By pour one out, I just mean we have a drink in their honor.
Mm.
I was I was like, are we gonna pour it on the floor? Like we just mopped
I
like
I just went for this for like 30 minutes ago.
No, I wouldn't make you do that. Like I normally say like if you guys had other members that weren't here, I usually say like this is where we pour one out in their honor by pouring out a drink
Yeah.
for them,
I like that.
because we
Yeah.
don't waste beer on this podcast. Unless it's like really shitty beer, then that's like we'll figure that out when it comes to it.
That's a
But
different story, you know?
yeah. But yeah, Scar has been out for 4 days so far. I mean, aside from the emotional release show that was also the same night, what's it been like so far with the reception on this album?
People seem to be liking it. It has a lot of yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of nice notes from like friends and other people in the scene. Um,
been really good. A lot of people bought vinyl at our show, which is like super special to us because it's the first time we've done that, and to see it like just like great support and just a great reception. It's been super awesome.
Nobody has told us that they hate it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nobody's been like, this sucks. Like, come on, guys, 3 years and this is what you're putting out. Like, yeah, no, honestly, like an overwhelming amount of support from our friends, and I think all of our family members too. Um, like we had the vinyl beforehand as well before the release show. So like there was one show we played where we had the vinyl, like we were selling the vinyl, but the album wasn't out yet. Wow, which was really cool. So people had a chance to listen to it. And all those people who like bought it were like, "Oh, it's so good! Like, can't wait! I can't wait for it to like actually be out." Like,
I kind of calmed my nerves before it actually came
Yeah.
out, at least.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good way to, like you said, calm the nerves and feel like you're doing the right thing. You put out the right product. I know we'll talk about links to merch later, but the two colors that came out for the vinyl is super sick. You got that blue and then that nice like purple that I feel like they both match the cover perfectly and connect to it. Like I'm always envious in the best way of every band that gets to finally press something of their work. And because like I always say, like I run a podcast, I should never have anything pressed to vinyl because it'd be fucking weird. So I'm very happy that the three of you get to experience that and have like your own moment with it. Like, what did it feel like when you first took it out of the package and like just held it in your hands?
It's kind of like surreal. Like, I know Sam
Yeah.
works at a record store,
Yeah.
so he spends a lot of time with
We actually are
records.
selling it in the record store, which is fun. I was just like, "Hey, can we put these in?" They were like, "Yeah, sure." So that's cool. We got the test pressings first, actually, and listening to that was really surreal, honestly, because I don't know, it's just crazy to like put on your record player and it's like, oh, that's me, that's us.
Nothing.
Well, everyone, make sure you go get a copy as well. One other, I mean, working with this, I know you can get the vinyl over on Mean World Records website. They're Mean World Records. Obviously, they reached out to me to kind of set this all up, and they're a newer label that I wasn't aware of. So, I'm sure most of my listeners aren't aware of Mean World Records. Tell me a little bit about how it is working with them through this whole process.
It's great. And Hunter, who is the main guy behind it, is super supportive and helpful. Inworld's really only been a thing for about a little over a year, so it might be a little bit more unknown to people, especially not in Colorado. But for the short time they've been around, they've done some really damn cool things. They were just super supportive in helping, like, because we've never pressed vinyl before. We kind of don't know much about like promotion on like Spotify and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that kind of go over our heads a little bit, and that's where I think it's really helped out a lot.
Yeah, we definitely would not have any vinyl if it weren't for them. And, they like did all like the price comparisons of who we should go with and just like helped us get organized and set up like, all the order form stuff. And yeah, and just been helping us with like PR, promo, all that. So it's been really great. And they're not trying to like gouge us for money, you know? We're probably gouging them for money, if we're being
Yeah, we're
real.
gouging them for their services. Um, yeah, I mean they do so much for us. Like I think, and Sam mentioned this, but like they're new as well, so they're also on a bit of a learning curve. But I think it's been really cool that like they're able to learn like how to navigate the industry like while still like supporting us and all the other bands on the record, um, which I think is like super special.
And also something, I mean, there's about 6 bands on the like the technical roster, but they're doing so much to just support the scene as a whole. They'll put on showcases and help bands. They'll put on showcases that don't even have any of the Mean World roster bands on there. They'll help bands submit to like for opening slots at like bigger shows around here, just like do a lot of other stuff, and they're just really in it for the right reasons and just trying to look out for the scene as a whole, and they want to see it prosper.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's what you want at the end of the day from like a solid label. Like I know, obviously, a lot of listeners are RIP Thumbs Up Records. Like they were a big one in like the kind of like Wisconsin scene. Obviously, we have Lonely Ghost Records out of Ohio and stuff like that. But it's like the little records, little labels that I love just because like they're still at that point where like they give a shit, instead of like a big label which is going to come in and ask you like to sign over all your masters or like ask for like crazy amount of money and then you're going to be stuck in for like a long time. I know some people are very against like being with labels, but I think like the DIY ones that are still like
Mhm.
in it for the scene, are still like amazing and like the best way to go if you're going to do anything.
Yeah, I would
Fully
agree,
agree. Fully agree.
100%.
I mean, the roster. I'm stoked to check out the rest of the roster that you guys are label mates with, and kind of do a deep dive through all of them. But like, shout out to Hunter for kind of setting this up, and who
Yep.
knows, maybe we'll get Hunter on the pod at some point as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hunter,
Hunty Bates on the
Honey
pod.
Bates. Yeah, he his band Shady Oaks, absolute rippers. Super talented. Their guitar player actually played a couple songs on us for our album release show. He played some slide guitar.
Oh, hell
Shout out Isaac Vance. And it's just a good community within there. And there's some really talented bands on the roster.
yeah. Sick. Well, I'm stoked to check them out. Um, One other thing I kind of wanted to bring up, just because when you're listening to the album on Spotify, it kind of gives you like the nice little video clips to kind of go along with the songs that you guys have put together. And for Playboy, there's a great shot of Eliza on Ethan's shoulders for playing that on that show. Like
Yep.
that's such a cool move, and I haven't seen it done before. Like, what sparked the idea to obviously get on Ethan's shoulders and jam out that way?
So I was at like a house show in Colorado Springs. It was like in like a basement, and there was this country singer there, like going on tour. His name is Bar J Bar. Shout out that guy. But it was really funny. Like this is like a honky tonk kind of like country three piece, and they had a stand up bass, like a double bass. And he got on top of the double bass player's shoulders and started singing in this like tiny basement. So he was like crunched down and like I don't know. After seeing that, I like knew I was like, yo, like we got to do this. Like this is like a need right now. And it works out because like Eliza's small and like I got big legs, so like
I literally put that video on that the Spotify thing. I literally put that on there yesterday. Yeah, I'm
Hell yeah.
so glad I did. I was just like, oh, I need to do this, and I just found a couple videos of us doing that, and yeah, because we do it for that song actually. That's why I put it on there. At that like end like fast section. Uh, so and originally actually the first time we did it, and the first like
Several times.
seven times we did it, we were covering Zero by the Smashing Pumpkins, and
Hell yeah.
which was amazing. It was super fun. I got to sing it, which was even better. And but then we were like, okay, we've done this too much. We gotta pivot a little bit, and we just put it on Playboy, and it works really well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a crowd favorite
It's a
for
crowd
sure.
favorite. We're
I'm
like, oh my
sure.
God, look
No
what they're
doubt it.
doing.
Yeah, it gets all the phones out too.
Yeah. Any like videos we get like tagged in our like Instagram stories, it's just that one like times.
Well, if they don't come for the music, they'll at least stay for the theatrics. So like that's a good way to keep them
Exactly,
hooked in.
Gotta keep them entertained.
I know we've kind of jumped around a lot on this record, talking about obviously focusing on the music video for Dead Dog and Tiny Tomboy in general. But like, is there anything I'm missing between Psychic Scar and Tiny Tomboy that you want the people to know about that I might not have brought up?
For the music video, I want to shout out our director, Mikey Hardesty. He basically like I was just like, I think I want to have some dog masks in this video. And he kind of made a whole concept around it. So he did an amazing
He
job.
like wrote
Shout
the
out
whole
to
story
him.
for it and and he does incredible work on its own right. He's like making movies. It was his first music video actually. He's like made some like really awesome short films and so it was kind of like a first for him and he crushed it. Another Colorado Springs friend actually.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that came out super well. And I'm stoked to see what else they might have in their wheelhouse. Do you have any other plans for any other music videos on this album?
Hmm.
Honestly, we haven't thought about it.
We kind of have one that we could put out for Vegas. Maybe we should do that. Been meaning to do that.
Thanks for reminding us.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe down the line. It's just like so expensive and time consuming to do, and when all people want to look at are like little like reels on their
30-second clips
Yeah.
and stuff.
So it's
and-
like kind of hard to justify, but I'm glad we at least did one and like put a lot of work into that. That was like a good like 6 months it took to do that. So
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say as long as every band at least tries it at least once to get it out of their system and like does it like something really well. I know some bands like you're mentioning like the whole like because we're now in this like TikTok era where everything's X amount of seconds or less. There's some bands that I know that will just film that amount of clips, like 30-second clips or whatever, and then just kind of do something else and then just kind of repost those as they kind of go. Um, but I love that you guys at least did the full music video for that instead because we would have just got like a clip of, you know, all the dogs at the bar. I would have been like,
yeah,
where's the rest of this?
it doesn't.
What's
It's
the
not the same.
context?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Yeah, and I guess for Vegas we kind of did do that. We kind of filmed a lot of stuff like with the thought of like kind of making it into like reels or clips, but we filmed like a lot of content that we were like we could turn this into a music video if we wanted, and we
Maybe we should. Yeah.
stay tuned.
Everyone
Yeah,
keep your
I don't
eyes
think the
peeled.
Dead Dog one will be our one and done. I think
Yeah,
there's
Yeah, in the future,
definitely a couple more
definitely.
coming. But they've yet to
that was
see.
yeah, that was still some of the most fun I've ever had in this band. That was filming that music video because we just got
Yeah, that
like
was so
15 of our
fun.
friends and rented out that venue down in the Springs Vultures. They let us rent it out for like an afternoon, and we just like blacked out everything and like
The owner was the dog
yeah,
bartender.
he was pouring
My
drinks.
Yeah.
Our one of our good friends, we dressed him up as Mr. Peanut Butter from BoJack Horseman. He had like the V-neck and the lab mask and the shades. And it was just hilarious. Like it like dog bowls and stuff. It was just bizarre and it was the best thing ever.
It came out like I can't stress enough how well it came out. It's everyone that's listening, please go watch it because I mean it I feel like it does that song justice in like the right way, to tie in for it. But also go listen to Psychic Scar in its entirety as well, if you haven't figured that out already. But as we start to transition here, this is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I would definitely do that for you. But I know the three of you have some beverages in front of you on this fine Wednesday. What are y'all drinking?
Okay. It's actually a funny story. Well, so we, like I said, I work at a record store, and work right next to like this independent movie theater called the Sea. It's super awesome.
Yeah, I love that
And they give
place.
us free shit all the time, like leftover. And the Friday before our show, they just dropped off about 20 crates of like beer like with us. And it was like 24 pack, like there was some like canned margaritas in there too. And they were just like my boss was like, "Yeah, take what you want." And I told him like, "Oh yeah, we're having a thing after our big album release show." And he's like, "Here, you can take like 5 of them." And we
We did not have to buy any alcohol
yeah,
for the party.
we didn't have to
Hell
buy
yeah.
any alcohol. So this, to cut to the chase, this is a Ratio Beer Works,
Denver.
Denver local, yeah. This is Cityscapes Mexican style lager, meticulously crafted, 4.8 alcohol by volume. The tasting notes, clean, crisp, party.
Party.
It literally says that.
And I have the same.
And then eat them.
I work out of school, so I've got the Trader Joe's coconut water for the
Nice.
weekdays, and then a few too many of those for the weekend.
Hell yeah. That's
What about
fucking
you?
awesome. So for this one, I got the wonderful
Classic,
hams.
yeah.
From the land of sky blue waters. Can't go wrong.
Midwest
cheap.
right there, baby.
It's in my fridge. Yep, represent the Midwest all day, every day. One of these days, it's gonna get tattooed on me, which that's the sad part. We'll see. We'll see how sad it is when it finally gets done. But yeah, so that's the little beer segment. Now we're going to kind of transition to the later half of these episodes, which are always kind of my favorite part of the episodes, where we talk about some fun stories from your time of music, whether they're shows, tours, time recording. Obviously, some shenanigans we might not have touched on from these video count as well. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between. I always like to think about it as think about the stories you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the best ones everyone loves to hear.
Yeah, I can think of one in particular.
I can think of many in particular.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the one you're thinking
I feel
of?
like the most legendary one is when we played at our friend Ella's house in the Springs.
Oh yeah, this is great.
And it was like a kind of old, like shitty house. They had like crazy cheap rent.
It's a college house.
Yeah, a college house. And we had, I don't know, there were a lot of people there.
Yeah, it was the
Too
release.
many.
It was
No,
like the
no, no,
release
no. It was
show for-
before that. It was before that.
Oh, really?
This
Yeah.
wasn't even the release show, which was even bigger.
For Sunburn, we played the release show at her house. But about, I don't even know how many songs in.
We had like 20 songs on the.
On
Wait,
the set
this was when
list.
we were still like playing like learning like 10 covers for our shows. We were still like kind of like in college band territory. And bottom line, we broke the floor. And it was like it literally
It was like a
felt
bouncy
like
house.
it literally
for
felt
real.
like a trampoline. And I
Oh my
remember
God.
like going down like and like seeing like what the floor looked because you could like go in the basement and kind of see and you could literally see the floorboards like going like that. It was
But yeah, our friend had to like hold on to the PA so it like wouldn't fall over, and like my mic was just like hitting me in the face because it kept bouncing. It was
and then the craziest
wild.
part is when Sunburn came out, we decided to do an album release there, and we decided our solution was going to be to put the stage over where the floor had broke and just kind of like flip it.
It
And-
worked,
and
I will say.
shockingly it worked, and there were even more people there. It was like I don't think it broke that time though.
No, it was
No,
already
yeah.
broken, and
Yeah.
apparently to this day there's still
I think we like put
a
stuff
White
under.
Claw can shoved in between the floorboards from that night that
This is
has
true.
not come out. I hope they've gutted that floor, honestly, but
That house.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I remember one time we were like in upstate New York. We were playing this house show. We had like the same thing happen where like the headline band it was like a band that hadn't played in a while, so like everyone came out for it, and we're just like kind of just like trying to stay against the wall because we could just feel the whole floor kind of sink in, and we're just like, dude, we're like just some good old boys from Iowa. We're not trying to die in New York from like a house show.
where in upstate New York was it?
It was like Rochester area.
Oh, I have family up there.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. Do you remember the band Storm of the Bay?
No, I haven't heard of
No.
them.
Yeah, they were the like the headliner band for that one. They were like at that time that was like 2014, so they were pretty older than us, but like they hadn't played in a while, so like they randomly decided to play that show.
Mhm.
What was
Oh
the
yeah.
band that you're in called?
It was called Exit Emergency. We were based out of Iowa, but I just like TM'd and like did merch for them. We all went to high school together, and I was just
Mhm.
along for the ride.
Nice.
Homie, nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any like prompts for us to like think about for the crazy stories or
What
Do
do
you
you,
have
Yeah.
in
what
mind?
what I was gonna ask you.
That was the one that I had in
Yeah.
mind.
What do you got, Michael?
Uh, so I'm trying to think here. So like, I guess we can start out with like, tell me about your best show experience, and then we can kind of. I'm sure it'll trigger like the worst one at the same time.
Because I was thinking of the worst one, honestly.
Oh,
That's where that's we can start with the best.
sure,
But I don't know what the best was,
what's
honestly.
the worst one?
The worst one,
I can think
okay.
of a few.
Fritzies?
Yeah, that's what I was
Oh,
gonna.
yeah.
Our first, well, not our first show, but like our first like venue show that wasn't like on our college campus was we were all still in college, and it was our homecoming weekend, and we had played like a 2 hour set in somebody's backyard, which was pretty fun.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
don't know, we were kind of under the illusion that like, we're in college, all our shows are packed, but it's like it's because they're college kids that want to like
yeah,
party, it's not because they're necessarily coming for us, like they want to have a good time.
yeah, and so that same night we played at this underground venue called Fritzies, which might have, I don't know if it's still there. I think it changed names. But we're opening for this band from Philly called Church Girls, who's actually I still listen to them
Yeah,
to
they're
this day.
sick.
They were super awesome, very
First touring band we
adjacent
played
to
with.
us, like sound wise. They were super good, but there was like nobody there but like our parents. Like it was like in this like kind of like speakeasy vibe, and they had like my like biggest memory from that is they had this like Halloween like webbing like cobweb decoration set up on the wall like behind the stage, and all three drummers, myself included, from each band kept like getting caught in it. Like so you did
Yeah, it was
it,
like Halloween.
and
So they
I
had like
was
the
like
Halloween
covered in
costumes on.
cobwebs by the end of it. And then we had 5 people in the band at the time, and we had a keyboardist who quit right after the show. It was like there was
Yeah,
only
it's like,
like
oh, where did Baxter go? And it's like, oh, he quit the band.
Oh, yeah,
he didn't even tell me.
Jeez.
He was just gone, and like it was like my parents,
My parents
Ethan's
were there.
parents, and then
We
like
had a
our
friend who
friend
was there, but then he
Rylan.
left before our set.
You looked like 15 minutes into our set, and we were the first band. And it was brutal. It was brutal. So I mean, like, talk about like only way to go is up.
It's a good character builder for sure.
It is, yeah. We were like, we had our heads were kind of
we're
too.
like
I
we're
don't
like,
know
oh,
what
this
the
we
word-
we gotta like put in.
we're so sick. Like all our shows were like packed with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we can
And it was a good reality check.
fill out Phi Kappa Phi easily, and like when in reality it's gonna be full with or without us, you know.
Yeah.
So definitely good reality check. Best show. Honestly, this past weekend,
Yeah.
it might
Probably right.
have been in terms of like headlining shows for sure.
Yeah.
We've played some really cool like opening sets for some really cool artists that were like super fun, unforgettable. Blonde Shell was one of them. Starcrawler,
Starcrawler,
Starcrawler.
Dorothy.
We-
Oh, that's another
do you know the
interesting.
band Dorothy by chance?
No.
They're like they sold out the Black Sheep, and we got to open for them. So they're like really big band, but they're like kind of like
They're like
lo-
hard rock, but like
like
she's
low
also
key
like
Christian, like
a
born
born
again.
again Christian kind of vibe.
Still, like I think the most people we've ever played to.
Well, a good story about that show is that we were like sound checking and I was like plugging in my pedals and the outlet was totally blown, like there's nothing coming from it. And she had like put in a bunch of fans in the front of the stage to like blow her hair back, and they had blown out the outlet.
I forgot about that.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I
That's
did.
crazy.
I totally. I
We also
don't
we
think I
never
knew
even
that.
we never even met them. They were just
Yeah,
like
they just hid out in their green room. We weren't allowed
or like
downstairs.
Oh,
their
jeez.
tour bus. It was like one of those weird. I don't think that's happened to me since, where I didn't even meet the band that we were opening
Yeah,
for. Like
like we've
it
always
was
had good
weird.
experiences meeting like
Usually
uh
people are really cool.
bands we're opening for, but they were like it was like so people got to the venue at like 3 p.m. and had their like lawn chairs out and
Yeah, like well before we got there for
well,
our
yeah, we show up. There's like a line around the corner. Like, what the hell?
We
And
probably showed up late, as we often
yeah,
did, kind of because they were not good at telling us when to show up, honestly. It's
get
not
the
totally
text,
our
"Hey,
fault.
where are you?" And we're like,
But it's
"We're
like,
5
well,
minutes
did
away."
we get an advance for the show? No, we didn't. So we just showed up when we thought we'd show up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Another really funny story from the Black Sheep that I really like to tell is that we were playing a show, and I think I was like 19 at the time, but like,
this is Starcrawler.
yeah, I think we were playing with
Yeah.
Starcrawler, and our guitarist couldn't make it, so one of our professors from school,
Who's
who,
actually on the Mean World
Yeah, he's
label.
his band is Death Rally.
Jay Makey, shout out.
yeah,
Super
shout out
talented.
that guy. He was filling in on guitar for us, like he was playing that show with us, and as we're like getting our IDs checked by the bouncer, this guy Bamboo.
Bamboo.
Who's like he's like just a crazy guy, but he like sees my ID and he's like looking at it and he's like looking at it closer and he's like wait a second, he's like, this is a fake ID, this is fake ID, and he goes inside and then he's like, dude, this is your second time using your second time using a fake ID here. What the fuck's going on, man? And it's like all right in front of like this guy who like Jay, who's like literally like
Our
our
professor.
teacher, like.
Yeah.
And he's just looking at us like, uh-oh.
Yeah, he's like, are we gonna play the show or?
It was dicey for a second. And
But yeah, he gives him now Bamboo gives him shit for that every
shout
time
out
he sees-
Bamboo,
Shout
the
out
real
Bamboo,
one.
Yeah, he
is.
calls me a fake ID thing.
Yeah, he caught me trying to sneak a beer into the Black Sheep once. Not even a show we were playing, but like the chats were playing, and my friend like wanted it. I don't know why I decided to do this, but I tried to like put a beer in like my pant leg or something, and it like rolled out. He was like, "Dude, what the fuck? I know you. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah, you know what?
Bamboo.
He's serious about his job.
Bamboo is the
He doesn't let
he
anything
really
slide.
commits to the bit. He's like
Hell
he's
yeah.
one though.
The time that we were at Black Sheep, we were rolling through, so we played the Black Sheep, and then we had our drink tickets, and our lead singer had just gotten like a fresh beer, and like this hardcore band was about to play because we got obviously, like we talked about, a lot of hardcore metalcore bands down there. We were pop punk, so it didn't fully fit in, but as he's like gets it from the bar and starts like walking towards like the crowd to like listen to the band, and some guy just came out of nowhere with like the big old X's on his hand and just like smacked the beer out of his hand, just goes everywhere, and then the guy like dips into the crowd, and just like we could never found the kid, but we're just like he just turns around, he's like, why? I just got that beer, and it was just like so sad of a moment.
So on brand. We love the Black Sheep though. It's
It's an institution.
it is an institution. Such a good place. Well, yeah, we're playing there next month, I think. We're
Oh,
opening for
right.
Slow Joy, if you know him. Yeah, we've opened for Vultures last year, ironically enough, and then he was like, "Yo, come play Black Sheep with us." And
Yeah, we haven't played there in a minute, so it'll be fun.
9 months or something. So
Since what? That was like September. That.
July.
Oh,
Wilderness.
it was July.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't.
Yeah, Black Sheep's.
Time
Yeah,
passes fast.
yeah. Oh man.
I did also see. Obviously, you mentioned that show. I think this episode comes out right after both shows, but you're also playing another show in Denver, and like I saw. So I go out to Denver every once in a while for work, So I'm trying to like catch some shows while I'm there
Oh, nice.
sometimes. And unfortunately, I'll miss the next Denver show because I'm be out there like the first week in Denver. But like, if I'm going out there, like, what are some go-to like venues that I should be checking out to
High dive.
Yeah,
catch
I
a
was
show?
gonna say high
High
dive.
dive
Check
for
out high
sure.
dive.
That's like, I mean, like, there's so many venues I love here. High dive is, unfortunately, with Denver, there's not too many like independent venues
Yeah, a lot
left.
of
It's
them is like
either like
AEG, Live
Live Nation. Those
Nation.
venues I still love. They get great shows. It's great building,
They may
whatever.
not pay you much at all,
But but
especially
High Dive
AEG.
is uh like we've played a lot there. Probably my favorite venue to play. It's just cool. It's like 250 cap, give or take. Um, it's just like it's just such like a DIY institution. Like the bathroom doors are just curtains. There's no like stall doors. $3 Rainiers. It's just right on South Broadway, which is like a super cool and busy part of
Yeah,
Denver.
I definitely recommend like walking around South Broadway too. It's a cool
Yeah.
area. Skylark is another venue that's
Sky
down there.
Skylark, super cool. HQ's down there.
HQ, yeah.
And then you get into like the Bluebird and the Gothic. Those are like the bigger ones that I love.
Yeah.
We just played the Marquee. I'd be remiss if we didn't shout out that. Um, Seeing a lot of awesome shows there. Know a bunch of people who work there who are all super cool. Yeah, there's just like a lot of cool. I don't know if I really have anything.
I would say like if you're like if there's like a big show that you want to see that's at like Mission Ballroom, that's like one of my favorite places
Mission's
to go
incredible.
see shows. The sound's always amazing.
We haven't even talked about Red Rocks either.
I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's not my
Yeah,
favorite spot though. I
yeah.
feel
You
like
you
it's
have
kind
to
of
go.
it's yeah, it's a place, definitely a place to go, but it's also kind of a pain in the ass if you like live here, and
Yeah, it is true.
it's definitely a destination
It's a
though.
destination. You can go during the day and just like hike around and like in the amphitheater, which is really cool. It's gorgeous. Definitely recommend doing that. It's like the show itself can always be kind of hit or miss because like it's an outdoor venue. You don't know how the weather's gonna be. Also, just getting there is like Eliza said, it can be a huge pain.
Yeah,
Uh,
because that Denver traffic, for people that don't know, it's like it sucks. Like I had to go when I was up there the last time. We had to go do like a site visit somewhere, and just like for us to leave to get there at a decent time, like and still get stuck in traffic, that shit sucked. Uh,
Yeah,
like
rush hour is no
brutal.
joke.
Yeah, it's brutal for sure. Too much sprawl.
Yeah.
D3 is a good
oh,
DIY
Oh
venue.
yeah, or Seventh
Seventh,
Circle.
shout out Seventh.
They've got some really good bands that play there.
Shout out Glob.
Glob is a venue
I
that
still haven't been to Glob.
it's pretty
It's
cool.
trippy as hell. It actually is a cool space, but I've just played some trippy. We've never played there as a band, but one of my other projects has played a few shows there, and it just some shit always happens, but it's a good spot.
Well, I'll definitely keep all of those in mind for my next trip and seeing what's going on down there next time I'm there.
When are you
Uh,
coming out?
I'll be there the first week in March.
Okay,
Oh, cool.
word.
Yeah, let's link, dude. Let's get some
Yeah,
beers.
let's
Dude, hell yeah.
Get
I
some
will let you know.
in
brands.
person. Here's with bands in person. Trying to think of anything.
part of me this morning, I was remembering that like I'm gonna be in Denver, and I was like, oh man, I should have just been like, oh, you guys want to just wait and just do it in person? I'm happy that we did at least did this now, and then we can always get beers later.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at my show calendar to see if there's any shows coming up that weekend.
What's the
Uh,
MJ London
and
show?
Jalen, well, that's in the spring.
But I was
If you're around on March 7th, there's a sick, our friends Bruja are opening for a sick band, Mind's Eye. Um, High Dive actually has like some really good shows that whole week, honestly. Like Lixon's playing there.
oh
Our
cool.
friends Blackberry Crush, who are also just new to the Mean World label, are playing. I think that 303 is playing Larimer.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's sold out, obviously. I think they just kind of did it
Damn, I kind of
for
wish I got
Uh,
ticket to
I
that.
kind of wish. I was
Shit,
thinking about that today, actually. I was like,
that would have been
should have done
kind of
that.
sick.
Yeah. yeah, we'll chat about it, and we'll do something while I'm out there, possibly.
Oh,
Yeah, because I think the last time I was just so busy with work that now I get to check shit out. I'm at least staying downtown, so like I'm within walking distance. I got to walk around the 16th Street Mall with all the construction last time I was there, so that was a
it's
lot of
still
fun.
there. It's still
Oh,
there.
hell yeah.
Definitely one of the sketchiest parts of Denver, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked around during the day and then stayed in the hotel at night. But I kept my eyes on me, got my weed, did my thing, did what I had to do.
True
But
Denver.
uh, this has been a great time, and it's going to lead into my next question. I think perfectly is one thing I really loved while I was going through your guys' Instagram is your little like puns to related to food about like how you guys are cooking it up on tour and stuff like that. From your run that you have done, what are some top choice spots that you guys hit food wise? Because like that's the one thing I miss about being on the road is like all like the niche food that you get in different parts of the state, like the US, that we don't have here in the Midwest.
I feel like for that tour, like we mostly cooked because our friend's mom came with us. And she had an Airstream.
Oh hell yeah.
So
Okay.
we like stayed in there and cooked. So it was pretty awesome. But was there any spot that we hit that
We're hitting Taco Bell. I think we hit Taco Bell once. They messed up my order.
Apparently, we went to Taco
We were,
Bell.
Sam and
Sam
I
was
were,
blacked
Sam and I were
out.
really drunk.
I was like, the next day, I was like, we went to Taco Bell.
I was like, do you want to like what about you just give yours to Ethan because you're like puking right now, and they only got him like one little thing, and he was like, no, I'm gonna eat it in the morning.
I did not eat it.
There's like a gas station in between like Laramie, Wyoming, and like Fort Collins that has like some really good Indian food.
Really?
Um,
Oh, what's
which I've
the-
hit before.
Wait, hold on, I gotta look this up. Keep talking.
But yeah, I don't know. We were like
There's that
we were
restaurant
going to
in
like
Rollins.
7-Eleven a lot and like getting
The restaurant in it's like
Oh,
the
this.
one
yeah.
$1 PBR
Oh
restaurant.
yeah, I love this place so much, and what's the name of it?
Yeah, wrong.
It's
Wyoming.
Rollins Bar. We have gone here every single. So we drive to Kilby Block Party in Utah. We love going there. And Buck's Sport Grill. Buck's Sports Grill. Every single time I've stopped at this place and gotten a $1 PBR and like a massive order of chicken tenders and fries. And they always just have like golf playing or something, or like the Little League World Series. And there's like nobody ever in there, and it's like some like 14-year-old like taking your order, like, and it's amazing. And there's like a weird, it's like those like fish like those mailboxes that are like a fish with like the trout's mouth wide open. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
that. And you just go in. It's just like such a like a it's like it gives like Twin Peaks vibes for some reason, even though it's like
It's got a
Wyoming.
weird vibe
Yeah,
to it.
people are like looking at you like, who are these guys?
Yeah,
Like,
they're
like not from here.
Like,
What are they doing?
Those guys have earrings.
These are our $1 PPRs. Like,
It's like we are not Rollins, Wyoming. We're not doing a good job fitting in whenever we're there, and they're like, "Who are these outsiders?" And it's great.
What was that place we went to in Salt Lake for breakfast? That was pretty good.
oh, Fins.
Fins is really good.
It's like a Scandinavian like breakfast and lunch spot in Salt Lake City. That's like really good.
What did we eat in Logan? Wasn't something really good? Or
We had
am I-
In-N-Out.
No, never mind. It's fine. I thought we had something before a show. Yeah, we did go to.
No, I think we cooked.
Yeah, you're right. We did go to the In-N-Out in Logan, Utah, which is where Utah State University is, and it was a trip.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, where one of our friends broke a slide guitar in the bathroom.
Or the guitar slide.
Yeah, the slide, like the glass
Not the
slide for the guitar.
We gotta go.
Oh man. Well, yeah. I wish I could try out a lot of those spots now. So I'm gonna have to
Even the In-N-Out.
like, get to Denver and just road trip from there. I think at some point, especially like that $1 PBR place, because
Oh,
that sounds like such a trip
incredible.
in the best way.
Best thing ever.
Yeah, I think we were the only ones in there.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty big
Because
too.
also we went there at like 4 p.m.
Yeah, that's true.
too.
That's fair.
Like, yeah. Shout out Buck Sports Grill. Trying to give them a good
Or
publicity.
Bucky's too.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Bucky's on the way up to Fort Collins is a an
I got
institution.
I got like a all meat, every meat barbecue sandwich from there. Did not sit well.
Every meat. It's all meat.
Yeah, it was like every meat.
Well, yeah, I'll have to try those out at some point. They all sound delicious and also terrible all at the same time. So I'm very stoked to hopefully one day try those all out. Like I've said, this has been a great time chatting with you guys about Cyclic Scar. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or Tiny Tomboy in general, where can they find it?
They can find our merch is on the Mean World website as well. We have a bunch of like pieces that I make myself that are only available at shows, but um, the mass produced stuff it's actually really cool. There's a kind of a sick dog shirt up there on the website.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll be posting about it on our Instagram too.
and then yeah, music on all the platforms.
Bandcamp, we got
Oh,
Bandcamp.
we do. If you want to, throw us
Send
a
us
little
over
throw
about
us a little
$6
change.
or something.
Everyone, be sure to go get a copy of Cyclic Scar from Mean World as well. If you're going to one of their shows, make sure you pick one up in person. It's got added to my list, so I'll get it at some point here soon. Maybe next paycheck. Vinyl's expensive. I've gotten into a bad habit recently. It's bad again. But that's okay because it gets added to the collection and I don't care. But depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, or you watch the YouTube version, you get to see all of their lovely faces like I did tonight. Make sure you check the hyperlinks down below. Go follow them on all the socials. Be ready for new music videos, tour dates, show dates, and go get some of the merch. I know they have a sick Taco Bell inspired sticker as well for all you Taco Bell
Yeah.
lovers. Go get that. But one last big thank you to the three of you for taking the time out of your Wednesday to sit down with me.
Of course, dude. Thanks for having us.
Dude, anytime.
Baby.
Everyone go listen to Tiny Tomboy, go listen to Psychic Scar, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Beers with Biz.